You can't handle the truth. The truth is, the clown's running this joint live for chaos. Live for chaos. Many of our problems could be solved overnight, but they let them be. Destruction fuels them. If you can handle that truth, you need to visit my website, preparewithjericho.com. You'll get $60 off a much-needed 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. The country's largest preparedness company, My Patriot Supply, is your fighting chance at survival. Sealed inside rugged packing, these delicious meals last up to 25 years and provide over 2,000 calories daily. Eat right in emergencies with this 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. At this low price, you can get one for everyone in your family. Visit preparewithjericho.com. Order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. Preparewithjericho.com right now before total chaos ensues. What's going on, mother suckers? Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. So how about this? The new Mr. Clark. Remember that movie East Side High? Lean on Me. It was about East Side High, which was in New Jersey, I believe in the 80s. I remember as a kid seeing that. I was traumatized. It was like that scene in Menace to Society where he shoots the store owner. Because in the beginning, he shoots him, but later in the movie, they're watching the surveillance tape. And when he shoots him, you see a chunk of the dude's head fly out, like come off of his scalp. So seeing it as a 13-year-old kid, I was like, what the fuck? I didn't grow up in that life. So, but before that, watching East Side High, there's a scene in the beginning where it goes into the school and you see all the graffiti and the drugs and the gangs. And this teacher, I don't know if he said something to the kids or whatever, but anyway, they end up with him on the ground and they're slamming the teacher's head on the concrete floor. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So apparently there's a new Mr. Clark. There's a Mr. Clark 2.0. Remember when Sloppy Joe said, this is Jim Crow 2.0. This is Jim Eagle. And then Fetterneck says, the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles. Anyway, well, you remember Mr. Clark, Morgan Freeman. They used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they call me Batman. Well, there's a new Mr. Clark in town, the 2023 version. And he's at a school, looks to me to be like in Southern California or something like that. And there's footage because the kids are recording it. And I said this in the last video. Why are kids allowed to have their cell phones at school? If you bring it to class, we have to take it from you. Everybody has to put a fucking phone in this basket. I don't understand that. But anyway, if I was my high school, there would be no cell phones in the high school. Because I'm Crazy Joe. But they record it. And there's this little Mexican kid, probably some little wannabe cholo, probably comes from a fucked up neighborhood where he has to be. And his single mom doesn't give him any rules or regulations. He ain't got no daddy, so the streets got him. So he's standing in his teacher's face. What, fool? Fuck, hey, nigga. So weird. It's bad enough when black people say that word, but to see somebody who's not black, like Mexican people or some shit, or some ghetto-ass Asian people or something, that shit's weird to me. But why are you saying that? Being like, what, nigga, and all this shit. And I don't even think the kid meant it as an insult. That's probably how this little fucker talks. That's probably what he hears all the time. All his homeboys talk like that. So he talks like that. Sounding stupid as shit. So Mr. Clark, and that's not even his real name, but that's what I'm calling him. Got a little video clip for you to check out. But Mr. Clark ain't having it. And it's a little news clip. So the guy's narrating, letting you know what's going on. And the kid he has a basketball. There are 2 things to tell you this kid ain't serious. 3 things. He don't have his hands up. He has a basketball in his hands, and he has his backpack on. Now, if you're serious about fighting, and when you're in school, fellas, what do? You take your backpack off. You don't want that shit on you. You don't want them to, number one, you don't want something to have to slam you to the ground with. You don't want to have them to have something to pull you around with. But this kid's standing there running his mouth, holding a basketball with his backpack on. He's not about that life. And he says something to the teacher, and he's calling the teacher the N-word repeatedly, just being a little shit. And you hear a little clip from the teacher at the end talking about this is what teachers deal with every day. These little bastards, these little future prisoners of America, these little future homicide victims. That teacher should come into school one day and just put white sheets over the ones that he knows are going to get killed. This is where you're headed, you little fucker. But they put it with these little bastards that come from these single mother homes that have no discipline, have no fucking structure. That's why they think it's okay to talk to authority figures like that, to cuss out the teacher, to get up in their face. This shit comes from single parent fucking homes, period. But Jericho, not everybody all the time. Yeah, I'm aware of that shit. But 99% of the time, that's where these little bastards come from. They don't have nothing but Takis and fucking Sprite in their stomach when they show up to school. Get abused at home verbally, physically, home life all fucked up. Grandma, grandpa's raising them. I feel bad for the kids. The school should go home and find the parents and fuck them up. Find a single mom and fuck her up. That's whose fault this is. But, poor little kids. But anyway, this little shit is up in his teacher's face. Teacher's just not having it anymore. And you're going to see a lot of this. You're going to see a lot more of teachers who aren't paid to do this. These aren't prison guards. These aren't YA. These aren't California Youth Authority staff members. These are fucking teachers. They're here to teach you something and have fun doing it. Not this shit. This is what you're going to see. You're going to get sick of it. They're not backed up by the schools. These little bastards have more rights. They bend to the will of their crazy, sorry-ass mamas. And here you go.
A brawl breaks out between a teacher and pupil.
Bro, did you really say that, bro?
This 14-year-old repeatedly calling his African-American teacher a racial slur.
Bro, say it.
14. Were you talking to your teacher like that at 14? 14-year-old punk. He's 6 inches shorter than that teacher. Shouldn't even be up in his face like that. But he probably sees this all the time. Probably sees his mom acting stupid, getting up in people's face, so he thinks he can. This boy is soaked in estrogen. He's up to his ears in estrogen, so he thinks he can do that too. Sorry. You're in a boy's body, though, player.
Bro, you're right here, bro. Everybody's watching. What's up?
I'm right here, dog. I'm right here, dog. I'm right here, bro. But right there. Teacher should knock you off for saying bro. I can't stand that shit. Bro. Come on, bro. Nah, bro. Yeah, bro. Let's do it, bro. What are you going to do, bro? Come on, bro. You ain't going to do it, bro. Come on, bro.
Hurling a basketball at the teacher. According to students, the confrontation sparked by an alleged dress code violation. After asking the students to leave the class, the teacher, Marston Riley, eventually snapped.
I'm telling you, right?
Pulling the student to the floor, pummeling him with repeated blows to the head. Riley arrested, the student sent to the hospital. The community of Maywood, California now split on who's to blame.
I just want to know if
Now, this part threw me for a loop in a good way.
he's okay.
If he's okay.
Yeah.
You're concerned about Mr. Riley.
Yes.
How about the student?
The student, I don't really care about him.
And nearly all the students we talked to sided with Mr. Riley.
All the racial slurs of that kid, that kid was just being very disrespectful.
He's really calm and he really respects his students and he cares about his students a lot.
Said she was in the class that day. Do you blame Mr. Riley?
No,
Not at all?
no, not at all.
And that raised almost $200,000 to help pay for his legal fees. Riley says he's speaking out now because he wants people to know what kind of abuse teachers everywhere endure.
The sad part about it is it's like teachers are being treated like that every day.
Hey, now shout out, that's all he said, then it cuts off. Shout out to my man Ty Smith for that one. But that's crazy, right? The kids, you think these little kids, these little products of indoctrination on the left and all that stuff, they'd be like, nah, that teacher fucking shouldn't have done that and all that kind of shit. But they were like, nah, that kid was probably a menace to them. Mr. Riley, that's his name, not Mr. Clark, but I'm calling him Mr. Clark for the purposes of this video. But that kid was probably a fucking menace to them. He probably picked on him. They knew about him. He had a terrible reputation. It was always causing trouble. Maybe Mr. Clark even provided a refuge. You can come hang out in my classroom during lunch or something to get away from these little bastards. But those kids were for the teacher. They said that kid was being disrespectful, and we want to make sure that Mr. Riley's okay. Mr. Clark is okay. Not that little turd. And that was great to hear. I'm glad to hear the students being on the right side, supporting their teacher, even though the teacher went off like that. That little bastard had it coming. Those kids probably wanted Mr. Clark to fuck him up even worse. Fellas, obviously, Mr. Clark, he knew how to handle himself. He wasn't no chump, that's for sure. But I only wish that he knew how to handle himself well. I wanted to see him pick that kid up and just make him part of the drywall. You know what I mean? You got the pictures up there in the classroom and whatever subject, let's say it was math, you got all these math equations and multiplication tables and all this kind of stuff. And it's all on the wall. I wish you would pick that kid up and put him in the wall too. I mean, if Mr. Clark could fight better, or maybe, I don't know, maybe he was taking it easy on the kid, but it looked to me like he had enough. But he a grown man would body a 14-year-old punk. Just imagine, fellas, some little 14-year-old ne'er-do-well gets up in your face and starts calling you names and disrespecting you on fucking basketball. I would take that kid apart. I'd pick, was he 115 pounds, maybe 116 with that backpack on? Boy, I would pick you up and put you in the fucking rafters. I would send you to the angels, you little bastard. You little foul-mouthed, nefarious little fuck. Cave your chest in, boy. Man, you lucky Mr. Clark went easy on you. You lucky Mr. Clark didn't connect with that first shot. Because if he would have connected, that little turd would have been asleep. That backpack would have cushioned your fall, young man. If he would have connected with that right on his chin, that little bastard would be out. But the story gives me hope. Not that the teacher whooped his little ass, but that the students were backing the teacher. The students still knew the difference between right and wrong. And they didn't just blindly back their stupid little classmate, their peer, just because. It looks to me like all kids aren't drinking this fucking Kool-Aid. All kids aren't about this bullshit. There's still a lot of kids out there who want a peaceful learning environment. What? A peaceful what? Yes, these children want a peaceful learning environment so that they can learn. Now, let me see. Boy, when you put in teacher hit student, a lot of shit comes up. A lot of shit comes up. Yo, California, okay. So it was in California somewhere. I'm guessing Southern California. But either way, I knew it was out west somewhere. So there you have it, people. There's still hope. All the kids aren't with the shit, and that's good to see. Thank you guys for being here. I'm about to get up out of here. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. Make sure you like and subscribe to my new YouTube channel, Green's House. Hit the Teespring link to get some merch. I am Jericho Green. And man,